We're back onto the subject of business bank accounts today. The 12-month free period that I have with Lloyds with one of my bank accounts is gone. I have no loyalty to any of the banks. They don't have any loyalty to you or me. Therefore, we've developed a tool to try and see what will be the best one to choose. Welcome back to the Basics of Business channel, everybody. And one of the key things we're looking to do always on this channel is accelerate you through key business decisions. Whether you've set up a limited company and you have to get a business bank account, or you're a sole trader where you should have one and we'd recommend you do. It's not always the easiest decision for me. I'm looking to switch here because a 12-month introductory offer and fees has gone. And as anyone knows, we're not the biggest fan of the banks, and I have no loyalty to them, so are looking to see what a better one is. But there's other examples where not just fees, making a fast decision on banks might not always be the best thing. It might be the quickest thing, but later on down the line, it might cause you a few problems.
Yeah, I think we did that other video where we opened 9 different bank accounts and we rated the banks on ease of opening, the service afterwards, the range of services that the banks had, to sort of try, like others have, what's the best business bank. And the banks publish their own rankings in the various surveys that are done. But I think one of the things that surprised me, or was a real eye-opener, was just how different they are. Banking is banking. I've always sort of thought it's potluck as to who the individual is at the bank that you meet with. And as we did that other video, it was how easy is it to open the bank account? Why do some of the more traditional, but Lloyds and HSBC made it much more difficult than Monzo and Tide and Starling. And so therefore your default might be, well, I just want to get the bank account open. I need it done quickly. I open an account with Starling.
And when you were running your accountancy practice, that's what you were telling people. You were just saying, look, just go get one as quickly as you can.
I mean, go back, before the Monzos and Metros and whatever were available. The first thing you did was go to your own bank. So you've got a personal bank account with Lloyds. It will be quicker and easier for you to open a business account with Lloyds. Go to your bank and open a business bank account. And that sort of changed, and it ended up with us having relationships with individuals within a bank. So, it was all down to, it didn't really matter. HSBC, they're a big bank, they do everything. All you're trying to do is get the account quickly. People weren't doing what we then did of, right, well, let's assess everything else. Is HSBC right for you? They're a bank, they're all the same. And I think what I've learned from this little project that we've done is that they're not all the same. And like we just said, you open an account with Starling because it's really easy. 3 months later, you're running your business, you want your bookkeeper to be able to see the bank transactions. Starling won't let anybody who isn't a registered director at Companies House any access to the account information. So 3 months in, that quick, easy decision that was, felt right. I've opened my account with Starling, I've got my bank account. But actually, we're here at the beginning of 2025. That is their, they say they're working on it. But at the moment, your accountant, your bookkeeper, someone who works in your business has no access unless they're a registered director at Companies House. So, and I think that's the bit that, what I'm hoping our tool, which we're going to show people in a minute, is to help people make the right decision for them. So if you are running your own small business, it's just you, it's more of a side hustle or whatever, you're doing your own bookkeeping, you make all your own payments, you're checking who owes you money, you're doing all of that yourself, you'll probably never notice that Starling has that restriction. And I think that's the bit of what our tool is to sort of just ask. We've got 4 questions, basically, of what we believe are the key questions. And we'll be asking for feedback on that as well. But how you answer yes, no to those 4 questions then just makes it easier for you to know, actually, that bank looks to be better than that bank for me of the four things that are important to me.
Because there are tons of them out, and as in, I can't remember how many banks. We've got about 15, 16 banks on here, or financial institutions. It's another tip, but as in who offer bank accounts that you can use for business. Some of them have 4 or 5 offerings. I mean, it's like they can, I think on this, we've got about 40 odd that we've gone through. So it's not just as easy as, oh, pick them because they themselves have 4 different options, and then there's different options and fees. So as I say, a key thing we're looking at this chat is accelerate you through these decisions, but make the best decision for you. We're not going to get everything right. You never are in business, but can you make a better, more informed decision quicker? And that's what we're looking to do in this tool. As I say, Lloyd's, my 12-month fee arrangement has gone. I have no loyalty to Lloyd's. I'm not, let's see, we sort of give the banks a hard time, but and some of it's deserved. However, I have no loyalty to Lloyd's. They have none to me. Therefore, I want to look for something else.
Yeah.
And see what that is. So let's dive into the tool now. And see, and just we'll answer it for me, and we'll show you different scenarios, and then we'll put the links in the description. You'll be able to download it yourself and give us feedback on it, things we can develop, etc. But let's get into it now and see how it works.
Right. So yeah, this tool that we've created is a very simple spreadsheet, really, and it's just show you here. It's broken down into eligibility. So are you eligible to have a bank account with that institution, that bank? And then 4 questions, suitability. So the eligibility is what sort of structure are you? Because some of the banks aren't interested in you being a sole trader, or they're not interested if you're a community interest company or whatever. And then we've got, do you have more than one director or shareholder? Because again, some of the very simple offerings are designed for one-person businesses, sole traders, one-person companies, whatever. So how you answer those questions, we then get whether you're eligible to even have an account with that institution. We then have the 4 questions. So do you want to speak with someone face-to-face in a branch? Yes or no. Do you need anyone else to have access to the bank account? Yes or no. Do you need an overdraft? And do you want to not have any monthly fees for at least the first 12 months? And we say monthly fees because although where banks have no monthly fee, they may have transaction fees, or you may have, and this was an area that we probably need to do another whole video on the fee structures, because the different banks we've got on here, we've got Tide, they've got 4 different banks and they charge differently on each one. Revolut has 3 different levels, and so
your monthly fee might have a certain restriction on the number of so it says no monthly fees, but you've then maybe only got 20 transactions with that, and anything over that, I think a default also is cash. There's fees for them all, so they might have no monthly fees, but if you're dealing in cash, you're going to be paying for cash transactions across them all.
And if they haven't got a branch network, there's an arrangement for you to pay cash in at the post office, but again, there's always charges that are linked to that. But cash these days is there's not so many people taking cash.
Okay.
So that's how we've done it. So as you answer this, you get a yes or no. If it's no, we've highlighted it red so that you don't waste your time. Suitability score, 4 questions, so it's out of 4. So in this case, it's just simple, as we say, you can
so take my example of, it's a limited by shares company.
So limited by shares, these are the choices that we have.
And just to show people, if it was a sole trader, I think a couple of things come in, or change there.
So it's a sole trader, and if you have more than one director. So if you don't have more than one director,
basically everything.
Then basically, so Revolut Basic is the only account you can't have. Where you can have an account with Revolut, but it's the Revolut Pro account. So in our case that we're looking at, we're a limited company, and we have more than one director because there's 2 of us.
So
there we go. So 3 that we're not even eligible to have an account with. So do we want to speak to someone face to face and in a branch? Now, I was talking to someone last week. They bank with Tide. It's all fine until something doesn't quite work, and then they find it really frustrating that they can't just walk in and get it sorted. You're trying to do it via via an app,
Yeah.
and it's not the same.
And some
That
of those,
won't bother
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
It bothers that person, but it wouldn't necessarily bother other people. And I wouldn't say it's
It's
definitely going to be an age profile thing, but
yeah, yeah.
it might well be that people are more used to seeing someone,
Well,
talking to
yeah.
someone, whereas other people,
Although
are
there's
used to that.
alternatives of, and they do it a bit like the fees of, whereas you pay a bit more, the support you get is better. So sort of, I think in some of the basic ones, it might be tied. We'll throw up on the screen if there's better examples where you pay nothing fees, but then your support is literally
Yeah.
is the sort of bronze level support. You pay a monthly fee, you then maybe get 24/7. You pay a bigger monthly fee, you'll get a dedicated. It's all online, no branch, but they sort of alter the support levels
Yeah.
based on the amount of your fee. So that's another interesting thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, and something, I mean, in the last week or so, we've come across some banks we'd never even heard of before. And there was one where, there's the level of support is high, but you have to have, I think it was £50,000 in the account,
Yeah.
or you had to have borrowed money so that they're earning from it to be able to support the level of service they say they're going to give you. Provided people give us some feedback as to how helpful or otherwise this tool is going to be.
So I think we
we'll add we
that
will
fees element is that.
Yeah, because not every bank is listed here, and I think we can add more banks to it, and I think there is another whole thing on the fees.
Yeah. No doubt.
And
I
again,
think it's just
helping
be
people.
cautious when it says free, and even this one of there's no monthly fees. Just be a bit wary, 80/20 rule that might not totally apply in your circumstances, and they'll recoup it some other way.
So in our case,
Yes, I do. Yeah.
we
We do
do.
want to be able to speak to
Our
somebody.
age profile is such. Do you want to have anyone else who have access to the bank account?
100%.
We do there.
100%. Because it's just, I don't know, anything, I don't know, you're the same of, it's just a pain. If people can't have access to it, particularly when it comes to accounts and sort of more detailed sort of financial support and advice, it's just a pain in the neck.
Well, and there's two levels. So when we were looking at this, it was like, do you want someone to have access, and do you want other people to be able to actually make payments and do things? So I think at the moment where we're saying with Starling, they're working on how you can give your accountant access to the account, but only directors will be able to have a card and a login. So again, that probably will cover a lot of people, but it might not be, it won't cover everyone. Some people will find that restriction that still doesn't work for me. I've got a non-director who's going and visiting people. I don't want them using their personal credit card. They ought to have a company card.
But we want to control the levels they're spending to and all.
And then and so therefore you go with the likes of Pleo or whatever, which lots of people do. But it's all adding to the the admin burden that you've now got a Pleo account and whatever account as you go through. So there's always workarounds on all these things. If you do make the wrong choice, again, someone I work with who has an account with Starling, it is frustrating because they can't give the bookkeeper access to the account. They've now got some overseas business. They've had to open a Wise account. There's something else. They've actually gone and opened an HSBC account. They've got a Pleo account. And suddenly, their zero bank feeds, they've got 4 different organizations on it. And some of those decisions they might have made anyway, but some of them have been forced on them because it was easier to do the workaround than it was to change banks.
So it's not all we were trying to make a better decision. Might not be perfect. Business change 6-12 months down the line, but we want to try and make as good a decision as you can, as quickly as you can, and bank out. Everyone wants to get up and running with a bank account, as you should, to get money in, etc. But it can cause pains further down the line.
So if we go back to our thing, we don't need an overdraft, but we would like to have
and the reason we're choosing that is just to sort of expose that, because whichever account we choose here, I'm going to go and I'm going to open it, and then we'll do a follow-up video on the switch service and the process of opening that, and let you know how we got on with that. So I'm going to choose.
So based on those questions, we can't open accounts with Bank of Scotland, their small account. We can't open the small current account with the co-op, and we can't have an HSBC Kinetic account because we've got more than one director. It'll be the reason for all of those. They'll all accept limited companies is because there's two of us. That they're really simple accounts that they don't support. So then we have to look at the suitability score. Anything that's scored a 4 is the one that we ought to be looking at because it's dealt with our things there. Interesting though, we've got here TSB and Santander, 4 out of 4, but actually at the moment, this is early 2025, both of those banks are not accepting any new customers. You have to already have a bank account with Santander or TSB at the moment to be able to open a bank account. So that's why we've got a couple of little notes on the side here. And there's the different things depending.
So like there's some of the various industries they want to accept. Some of them are residential requirements. So I'd say we didn't want to overcomplicate that. We just wanted to try and reduce the shortlist as quick as we can. We've added these notes in there, and we'll keep them up to date as well as we can. Let us know in the comments if there's any, if you use this, if there's any updates, we'll definitely feed those in. So it's trying to narrow down that shortlist. We're going to stick to the 4s, but there are even things within the 4s where it knocks some ones off the list.
Yeah.
So like Bank of Scotland there of the, I'm just looking at it here, must be your first account applying with Bank of Scotland. No, I've got an account, so it's not going to be that for me. Co-op, I've got to be an existing customer, so they don't do it there. HSBC, I just can't bring myself to open an account. So past experience is just, that's a no.
And Lloyd's was a 4. So,
but we're moving from Lloyd's, so we're not going to choose them.
Metro Commercial gets a 4, but your turnover must be over £2 million, so that isn't going to work for us. The reason that's a 3 is it's not free banking for the Metro business. So RBS NatWest, you must have been trading for over a year or turnover above £1 million. So
that's possible,
right?
Do you want to put that? We'll put that just so that in a sort of green just now, just so it's or an orange, and then so that's keeping on the list just now.
RBS startup, you must have been trading less than a year, so that doesn't apply to us. Santander existing business is only TSB. Virgin business, correct? Business turnover less than 6.5 million. So that would be.
So we're down to 2. After all that, we've narrowed it down to 2. Obviously, depending if you add your questions, but hopefully this shows you why it can make a better decision quicker. And I think for us, and I do just thinking of the next video I've had historically account with NatWest. I feel I know a bit about them. Virgin, I've never had one with them. I think it'd be good. I think we've had comments in our previous videos of what do we think of Virgin. So we're going to choose them.
Yep.
And see how we go on and open an account with them. We'll do a follow-up and do a switch, test out the switch service to see how the ease of opening is, etc. See whether the tool has been correct in terms of what it's told us. Pretty confident and hopeful it has. But as I say, I hope this will be a helpful tool to let you make a better decision quicker. And with the notes there, will help you whittle down to something better there. So that's worked much. With the notes, I thought we had a few to go through, but with the notes there, it's knocked a few
out. Yeah,
a few out. And then as I say, if you had no 4s, then you'd have to go to the 3s. But then you know what you're compromising on.
And just to be fair, we ought to say to Barclays, actually, they could be green. Must have been trading for more than 12 months for the Barclays established business.
Okay,
that's a 4 as well.
Right. Okay.
But we're still, as you say, let's go with Virgin.
Yeah. So as in if it was yourself, you could then look at those 3 and do a bit more research. But rather than looking at 45, you're only looking at 3.
Yeah.
So I hope that's been helpful. We'll put links in the description to let you download this sheet and use it yourself. Please give us some feedback and how it works for you, how we could develop it if it's worthwhile doing that. Please give us a like. You know what to do. There's boxes on the screen to join us in another video. And as ever, and most importantly, we wish you every success in your own business.